It's time to plan the weekly meals again, and I've got some news on the home front regarding Thrive Life. Hi, this is Kelly with an Ozarks Journal Homestead. And some of the things are already written in because I've gotten to the point where if Bob and I are talking and I think of something that I want to put in on the menu for the following week, I just go in and get this and I write it down so I have it. Now, there's a couple of things. First off, if you've not heard, this week is going to be mostly making sure I'm using some Thrive Life. If you've not heard, Thrive Life freeze-dried foods are closing their doors on August 31st. Today, as you're watching this, everything across the board is 25% off in their liquidation sale. So we have that going on. So Friday morning, Bob and I did a quick breakfast of the sausage and cheese and egg scramble, and then we got started. This is a tip for storing your foods. If you don't think you have room to prep, you have more room than you think. Last fall, when I wanted to stock us up on toilet paper, I cleaned out everything out of my closet, got rid of stuff that I didn't need anymore, and it emptied an entire top shelf of my closet for storing toilet paper. In the kitchen, I got rid of stuff out of the kitchen I didn't need anymore that was taking up space, and it gave me an entire top shelf of a two-door cabinet to store the paper towels, the napkins, and the paper plates. Why was I going downstairs after replacement things when they needed to be upstairs? So that was, use it, store it where you'll use it if you can. So for this week, we've been just putting the boxes of Thrive Life down in the pantry downstairs, and when we needed something, we'd go out and go down and dig it out. Pain in the butt, but it was working for the time being because we knew that was not going to be our permanent spot. Bob has a 5-shelf baker's rack in the closet that he had used for his shoes. So, and I have a 5-shelf bookcase out in the bedroom part away from the closet that had my shoes, my jewelry boxes, all that miscellaneous stuff that I hadn't touched in years. It was time to give it a deep clean out, so we stripped everything off my 5 shelves. I wiped them all down good, left the 2 bottom shelves for Bob to put all his boots and shoes, left me 2 shelves for shoes, and it gave me the top shelf to put my jewelry boxes on. Worked out perfectly, got rid of a bunch of stuff we didn't need. So then we unpacked. I carried all the boxes of Thrive Life stuff up from the basement. I unpacked it and I put it on the baker's rack in the bedroom because the bedroom is cool and it's dark and it's dry. The 3 things you want to keep in mind for storing your freeze-dried foods. So that gave me a perspective of what we already had on hand, what we've been using, and what I needed to order more of before I'm not able to anymore. So I did a big order on Saturday, and I've got we ordered back up. I had everything in the cart that I wanted us to get before the sale, and it was over $1,200. I'm like, I can't spend $1,200 on groceries. So what we did was we looked at what was on the shelf, looked at what I use when I'm preparing meals, and we cut the order in half. And so we got everything we wanted to get before it sold out, because once an item is gone, it's gone. Like Bob's dehydrated or freeze-dried strawberries. He really likes his freeze-dried strawberries on his oatmeal in the mornings. Last night he did up a batch and did a strawberry shortcake after I went to bed. So then the stuff that we really still want to have, but if we aren't able to get it, it's not going to be a problem. And I will re-hit that cart this morning when the liquidation sale starts and get up as much of the other stuff as I need. Breaking it up into two things makes it less painful. I still pay the credit card off in one fell swoop. I never keep a balance on a credit card, and that part's going to hurt. But at least I know I have the chance of getting some of the other stuff at a discounted price. But I picked up full price for the stuff that we really use, like the dehydrated or the freeze-dried eggs. We use that egg powder all the time. I have 2.5 cases in there. Another case is what I needed. So, that kind of thing. Now, I want to talk about the meals from last week. Bob did do the pheasant rice on Tuesday night, and that's why I made the chicken gravy to go with it, and that's why I have chicken gravy left over that we are going to do the hot chicken sandwiches. I'll cook the chicken breasts and slice them up. And we'll do hot chicken sandwiches with rice and the leftover chicken gravy. Just like a hot beef, but with chicken. Instead of doing the hot beefs, I don't remember what we did with the hot beefs Wednesday night. We didn't do those. But then Thursday night, instead of doing leftovers, because there were no leftovers, I made burritos using the pulled pork from Thrive, the refried beans from Thrive. Now, I ordered more of the pulled pork. I will not order any more of the refried beans because I loved them. They worked great. They tasted great. Add a little salt and you were perfect. But I had already, last fall when I was doing the grocery stock up, I had already purchased several bags of the pinto beans to make my own dehydrated refried beans. So I'll have those. I'm just waiting for the weather to cool down so I can start running my dehydrator again. We're on heat indexes of 100 plus this week, so I'm not looking forward to that. The dehydrator's not going to get run very often. So we did those Thursday night instead of doing the burritos Friday night. I don't remember what we did here. And yesterday, I remember. Friday, after we did the cabinet, we went to dinner at our favorite barbecue place. And we had, I'm just going to put savers here. We each got the full rack of ribs. There was a $7 difference between getting a half rack of ribs and a full rack of ribs, which was like almost half the price. So we each got full rack of ribs, did dinner there, and then we're going to do the rest of the ribs here, and I'm going to use Jen's Scratchmade Kitchen. I'm going to use her recipe for her cheese sauce, and I'm going to make mac and cheese from scratch. And I've got a dinner roll recipe in here I'm going to show you here in a minute. So this was ribs and mac for there, and green beans. So there's that. So let's slip over to here what we're doing. This morning as you're watching this, we're going to do the breakfast sandwiches. We don't keep potatoes in the house per se because I can't eat a lot of them. They usually wind up shriveling up and going to seed before I can eat them. So when we want mashed potatoes, we just pick up a thing of Bob Evans. Now, Bob was in town yesterday. I asked him to stop the store and get Bob Evans. Well, they had Bob Evans on the 5 for $25, which means you can pick five items out of this particular showcase for $25. Granted, it's a good price. I just really wasn't looking at spending another $30 yesterday. So one of the things he picked up was a box of the Tennessee Pride breakfast sandwiches. And I think he got ham, egg, and cheese sandwiches, which he knows those are easier for me to eat. So we're going to do those this morning. And then I'm not sure, and then I think I may make Chinese for dinner here. Chinese just sounds good. Tomorrow morning we're going to do oatmeal, because you notice we're switching things up here. And then Wednesday we're going to have the leftover breakfast casserole. Now, I made a casserole yesterday morning. It's like a quiche, but it's not in a crust. And it uses all jar meals. And let's see if I can find the recipe for that really quick. It is a Mountain Man breakfast casserole. And it used a cup of the diced potatoes from Thrive, a 3/4 cup of the sausage crumble from Thrive, half cup of the shredded cheddar cheese from Thrive, 2 tablespoons of dry milk with, you guessed it, from Thrive, a cup of the egg powder, and then 2 tablespoons of diced onion from Thrive, and then a teaspoon each of seasoning salt and garlic powder. Now the cool thing was, the eggs came out almost like a custard. They were so soft. So then when you get that all, you toss it in a bowl with 3 cups of water, let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes to proof, spray your casserole dish, toss it in, and throw it in a 325-degree oven for 35 to 40 minutes. And you got breakfast. And it was absolutely delicious. So I'm going to be doing up some of these in a breakfast casserole and jar meals. So we have half of that left over, so that's going to be Wednesday. And then there's a recipe for chicken Parmesan pasta, which is a jar meal. So what I'm doing is, and one of the things that Jar recommends is just because you see a recipe and it looks good, don't go up and do 6 or 8 jars and then eat one of them and find out you don't like it. Make 1 jar, test it, and see if you like it, if there's anything you need to touch up, like less or more salt or less or more garlic, or add, whether you're adding salsa, anything spicy to it before you pack up a whole bunch of them. So that's what we've done with the breakfast casserole. We tasted it. I've got another one in here I'll tell you about in a minute. So Wednesday night we're going to do the chicken parmesan. Now last fall I got a really good deal on pasta. They were like 10 bags for $1. And I bought like 30 bags of different kinds of pasta. So I have 2.5 cups of bow tie pasta. Cup of chicken slices from Thrive. Quarter cup of the Parmesan cheese. Now they did have it. They don't have it anymore. I'm going to explain why that's not going in the jar in a minute. Half a cup of their tomato sauce powder, a third of a cup of their diced tomatoes, and then a teaspoon each of garlic powder and seasoning salt. You dump that all in a pan, add 3 cups of water, and here's where I would add the Parmesan cheese. Parmesan cheese that is freeze-dried is shelf-stable. The Parmesan cheese you get in the little shaker at the store to put on your spaghetti is not. So I can add that to this after I dump everything in the pan. I cannot add it into the jar itself. I have to wait till I get ready to prepare it. Stir to moisten, turn up the heat to medium and let it simmer with the lid on, stirring occasionally until the pasta's done. She also suggests adding breadcrumbs because, you know, the breadcrumbs and crusty is what makes it Parmesan cheese. So she takes the little squares of croutons that you would get like with a salad when you go through McDonald's. You can buy them in bulk on Amazon, or you can just buy a package of croutons at the store and bag them up in not the Ziploc bags, but in the fold top sandwich bags. Put a few of those in there and stick those in the top of your jar before you seal it up, and then you have your croutons that you can crunch up or breadcrumbs and sprinkle over top, and you have chicken Parmesan pasta. It's like doing a hamburger helper, but it's not hamburger helper. Everything in there is perfectly healthy. There's no bioengineered products. There's no chemicals to make it last longer on the fridge. None of that is in there. So we're going to do the chicken Parmesan jar meal on Wednesday. Thursday is just kind of a wash for me. I think we're going to be ready for ham, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwiches. I can't wait for boneless ham to go on sale because I'm going to get 2 or 3 of those this time. And cheese sandwich. And then I'm going to get... now Bob is gone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to a gun show. He's actually setting up and selling a couple of things this week. So I'll have this to myself. So we're going to have to do something. Maybe I'll do actual ham and eggs. Oh, you know what would be really good? I have cube steaks in there. We could do cube steaks and egg and toast. Something different. Cube steaks, eggs, and toast. Now, he'll grab something quick Saturday on his way out the door. I'm going to do pancakes because he won't be home. Sunday breakfast, really, I think Bob's going to be gone again Sunday. We'll hold off and see what I feel like doing on Sunday. Lunches, I'm not going to worry about this week. It's going to be whatever's in the refrigerator that we can grab and eat. Thursday, so now he's going to be getting ready for that. He's going to be ready for that hot chicken sandwich when he gets home. I want to do something beefy here. Maybe we'll just do sloppy joes. That'll be good. And I may move these 3 items around for later. And for chicken, we did the fried chicken last week. And if you've not done the fried chicken, you get a nice crispy fried chicken thighs and you do not have to roll them in flour or fry them in a deep pot of grease or whatever. I'm going to leave the recipe for Pam's fried chicken down below. You got to check it out. That's the only way I fry chicken anymore. But I think over here, I'm thinking maybe a seafood boil for Sunday. No, because Bob's not going to be home until late. Well, yeah, he'll get out there at noon, 5. I'm going to wait and see how his day plays out and see what he suggests for those 2 days. So that's pretty much going to do it for me this week for meal planning. Oh, I was going to tell you about this bread. I'm going to do it. I'll let you know next week how these dinner rolls turned out because they're what I made Sunday. Today as I'm recording this, the night before you see it, you know what I mean. Sunday to go with our barbecued ribs. It's 1.5 cups of self-rising flour, 3 tablespoons of powdered milk, a teaspoon of sugar, and 3 tablespoons of mayo. And if you want to do this as a jar meal, when you're out eating out, or you can order from Amazon, the individual packets of mayonnaise, put 3 of those in the top of your jar. Then you add 3 1/4 cups of cold water and the mayo to mix, and it turns into a sticky dough. Divide it into 6 sections. Spray your muffin tin or line them, and then bake them in a 6-cup muffin tin for 12 to 14 minutes at 375. I will let you know tomorrow how those turn out, but they kind of think they're going to be a lot like a Texas Roadhouse or a Colton's kind of roll, so we'll see. So I will let you know next week how these turn out. And that's going to do it for me in here today. Check out the Thrive link down below. If you do not have a consultant, my link is down below, or check with any consultant that you have. And then I will see you back here next week. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. And as always, be prepared, be safe, and be blessed.